Hi, everybody. We are back to take your medicine. This is Billy, my co-host, and Bennett. He's kind of become my other co-host, huh, Benny? These puppies are some of the joys of my life. I love them so much. I'm so glad Billy's feeling better after her bladder infection. She was miserable, and that was not fun. Today is episode 25. I'm kind of excited to be a fourth of the way done with my goal. I do think I'll continue doing this show after 100 episodes, but my initial goal in doing it was to do 100 episodes before the end of 2024. So we are on our way, even though it's definitely a fourth of the way through the year, huh, Billy? But we'll catch up. Yes, we will. You say hi to everyone. Give me five. Give me five. Give me five. You stinker. Can you lay down? Chill out a little bit. Oh my God. What's up? Let's see. I don't have a ton to go over today. I just wanted to share a couple updates and maybe share a little bit about my medicine journey today. You just want to be in the spotlight today. I'm happy about it. Sometimes you just be shy, huh? Can you lay down though? What? She likes to hold hands. She's funny. I've seen on TikTok they have that like put the hands in thing. She'll do it every time. Everybody put your hands in. Everyone put your hands in. You're just gonna lick them this time? Okay, back up. Lay down. Can you lay down? You're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're not very obedient though. So let's see, updates. The picking actually has improved a lot, and I am super grateful to report that. My hands are looking better. My thumbs, they're not perfect, but they are a lot better than they were the last time I showed you. It's been a really frustrating part of my life, as you know, if you've been watching the show. And so, are you telling me secrets? Thank you. And my back is completely healed. There's still lots of scars there, but nothing open. You playing my drum, Bennett? And my legs, each of my legs have a sore or two on them that I still am struggling to allow to heal. I think I'm going to cover them in Band-Aids today, but the really frustrating thing is like every single brand, every single kind, even the sensitive skin kind of Band-Aids give me a really itchy rash. And I've never, ever been able to find a brand of Band-Aid that actually works for me. So it's a little bit frustrating because that would make it a lot easier to be able to just completely cover them and allow them to heal. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But I have made a ton of progress and I choose to be proud of myself, just like we talked about last time. I love myself. I approve of myself. I am who I am, and that is enough. Huh, Billy? You're a cutie. You like that spot? I like my butt massage too. So that's good. Also, armpit hair definitely growing in. It's getting more and more for sure. And I've just pretty much gotten used to it. I don't know if I'll ever shave my armpits again. I was just thinking, my husband and I, AJ and I, were talking yesterday about how if you're an actress in Hollywood, you probably would not get a leading lady's role if you had underarm hair, which is so ridiculous. But the standards we set for women are so silly in this country. And so I just hope it continues changing. And if my hairy armpits can help inspire others to be brave and to just be themselves, then it's totally worth it to me. Maybe we should read a card today again, Billy. I loved when we pulled the Nightingale card the other day. I was so lit up about that. That was so cool. And then we turned right to the page of the Nightingale. Usually it takes me forever to find the card because they're not numbered. They're just kind of listed in there. But I am continuing to incubate the little robin egg that I found outside on the sidewalk on our walk the other day. I don't know if it's going to work. The chances are really low, but I am doing my best. We're keeping it warm with a heating pad and keeping moisture in there and trying to keep the temperature and humidity conditions just right to give it the very best chance at survival, huh? Wouldn't it be fun to have a little robin friend and we could raise it to be able to go out into the wild, hopefully. I don't think it would be very kind to keep it as a domesticated pet, but we'll see what happens. So let's pull a card and see if we can gain some wisdom from our animal friends today. You know, I was telling my son Jonah yesterday, he came over and was hanging out with us, and I was telling him that nature teaches us that everything has a purpose. The perfect synchronicity of our entire universe relies on every single being having a purpose, whether it's the starfish or the octopus or an oak tree or an apple tree. Everything works together in perfect harmony. And they don't have, you know, the same kind of thoughts that we do, that doubt our purpose and get confused about what our purpose is because of all of the crazy programming. It's like, what am I even here for? But the trees have taught me, you know, the acorn is meant to be an oak tree. And that acorn, even if it tried really hard, could not become a golden retriever. That's not how it works. And we too, in my belief, have a purpose. And our purpose is what makes us happy. Our passion is our purpose. And so we have to stop listening to all of the voices around us telling us that we're not worth it, that we can't do whatever we love to do, that we're not good enough. We really have to believe in ourselves and practice what we're passionate about and be courageous and bold about living our purpose. And so I feel like for a long time when I started this awakening process, I wondered, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And Jesus Kate has made it so clear that what brings me joy is my purpose. We are meant to be joyful creators on this earth and to be stewards of everything else that lives upon the earth and to help one another, just like the trees are all connected through their root systems and the mycelium. We are all connected as well. It just is not as visible, just like the roots are super visible under the ground. If we dig, we can see all of the roots. We are just as interconnected. And every part of the harmony of our universe relies upon us living our purpose. So I hope we can all just live our truth and live our purpose, no matter what anyone tells us we can or cannot be. Deep down, we absolutely know, just like the acorn knows what is meant to be this beautiful oak tree. You know, the apple tree is meant to produce apples, and we are meant to do whatever makes us joyful and feel the happiest as well. So here we go. Let's pull it, Benny. Cut it 3 times. Wait, did I do that right? Let me try again. Dyslexia. There we go. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Oh, what do we have to learn from the mouse? This is a fun one because I feel like the mouse would be often overlooked as some being in our planet that maybe isn't as important. But in my opinion, the lion is just as important as the mouse and the ant or the bee, and every single being on the planet has something to teach us. So let's learn about the mouse. It's going to take me a second to find, maybe. We'll see if I get lucky and find it fast again. Oh, here it is. That wasn't bad. The mouse. Detail-oriented, small-minded, nitpicky, and nervous. The mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. It often spends its days fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. Unfortunately, a mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life and try to control every detail. This can be quite a painful experience for both the mouse and those around them. When mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. It may be time to find a more purposeful project to delve into, one that is worthy of your exacting eye. When in balance, the mouse is organized, resourceful, and prepared. When out of balance, it is busy with no purpose. Were we just talking about purpose? To bring into balance a meaningful project. I absolutely love that. Let's see, something stuck out to me. Oh, trying to control every detail. We talked about on the last episode how oftentimes when someone experiences a lot of trauma in their early childhood, they end up feeling the need to control the people around them, to control the circumstances, and it becomes a very difficult life when we're trying to control all of the variables of our life. And so if we can pull back and just allow things to be, allow the people in our lives to be who they are and not have to fix or control or change any aspect of who they are, we end up feeling more free. We end up having more energy because all of that control, all of those thoughts and tendencies steal our energy. So that is one thing that we can absolutely learn from the mouse. And the other thing I loved is the purpose. So if we are just kind of spinning on a wheel like a gerbil in the wheel, you know, maybe we need to pull back and say, what would be a meaningful project to me? What would bring me joy? And there again is your purpose. And you'll feel so much more lit up when you are walking in your purpose. So I hope that's helpful. I wanted to talk today a little bit about what my medicine experience has been like. You know, I have talked to a lot of people who have experienced earth medicines of different kinds, whether it be ayahuasca, which I have experienced, or psilocybin, which is magic mushrooms, or marijuana, which can teach us a lot, but is often abused and overused and ends up stealing our power from us and causing more problems than it's worth. So that's one that's really important to find a really good balance with. Or even cacao or cambo or hapé. There's so many different beautiful medicines that our earth provides for us to learn and expand and grow through. And I don't know that every medicine is meant for every person on this earth. And so you really have to trust your heart and trust your intuition. And when the trees, you know, gave me their first initial set of visions, I was not on any medicine. It wasn't the first time I had had visions before in my life. That was something that I had definitely experienced before, but this was huge and life-changing and body quaking. And oh my gosh, we were just there at the Auntie trees, where the ceremony of the trees happened on June 7th of 2020. So we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of that day for me. And we're going to go there and probably have a picnic with the Auntie trees. But we were sitting under the Auntie trees yesterday, me and Anthony and AJ, and just talking about what an incredible experience that was. It was a completely different experience for AJ than it was for me. And actually, in the book that I am working on writing, he has written kind of his account of that. And maybe I'll read that to you on June 7th for the ceremony of the trees anniversary. But what I felt a huge passion and longing for after that experience was to start working with medicine and to start healing myself. And the awakening process really can get, from the outside, it can look very messy because wounds have to be completely opened to be able to breathe and to be able to fully heal. And so when you start the medicine journey, you know, a lot of people say if you do ayahuasca, be prepared for your entire life to almost fall apart in a way. Your relationships will change. Some people will exit your life. New people will enter your life. Everything, your desires will start to change. Everything starts to change because you're starting to remove the programming that is outside that has been placed on you. And you're starting to really go inside to figure out who I really am. And that can be a really messy process. It's the process of awakening in my experience has been a process of healing and discovery and expansion. And so the medicine was calling so strongly to me that I ended up going to Sedona several times and making a temple out of my car. I put a futon in the back and I covered all of the windows with scarves and blankets. And I had my crystals there, which was completely new to me. My best friend, Iggy, had a lot of experience with crystals and she taught me a lot about how to use them. And it was quite the experience. I mean, I was in this car by myself listening to the Johns Hopkins psilocybin playlist. And that is on YouTube. You can find it. Johns Hopkins University has done a lot of research on the benefits, the neurological, the physical benefits of working with this medicine. And they have a playlist online that you can look up. And that's what I use when I journey. I can link it in this video description. But that was a scary time for me, but it also was a time of huge excitement because I was opening myself to dimensions and experiences and beings that I could have never imagined. In my life, I had very little imagination. So I did not enjoy any kind of fantasy fiction, any kind of fantasy movie whatsoever, books, nothing like that, anything with dragons. I was like, absolutely not. Anything with wizards or anything like that was completely, I was averse to it. And then in my car, having these experiences, I was going into parallel lives that I was living, some on other planets, some on this planet that were very similar to this life, but on a different plane. It was such an experience. And some beings started to make contact with me after a few times of going through this. And one being that I do not talk about very often, probably not often enough, his name is yOur. I talk a lot about Jesus Kate because she is like my best interdimensional friend. But I had to be prepared to have access to Jesus Kate. And I was prepared through a being called yOur. And yOur lets me know that he's here with sounds. He makes these sounds like dee 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 dee. He's like has very like joyful, beautiful, almost like circus energy. And I would start to know that he was with me, and then he would start to teach me all these lessons. He would do procedures on my body that would clear my energy. And it happened many times before I was able to even be introduced to Jesus Kate. So yOur is so special to me. He's a protector for me. He is a dragon energy, but he can also transform into all different kinds of things. But first and foremost, he did introduce himself to me as a dragon. I did not believe in dragons. I had no idea that they were actually interdimensional beings that we can make contact with. I thought they were completely made up. I just never in a million years would have imagined that a dragon would come to me and teach me. One of his very first lessons that he taught me was the power of the pause, is what I call it, because he gave me this whole lesson about he is like a sleeping dragon in my heart center. And if he is calm, if I tune into my heart center and he is calm, then I can be calm too. That our greatest source of intuition and wisdom and knowledge and guidance is in our heart chakra. And so he taught me to pause instead of to react, to pause and to tune into my heart center, and then decide if it's something I need to respond in a very bold and loud way to. And often it's, if I can pull back and pause and listen to my heart will tell me that everything is okay, or that I do not need to control the situation. And so that was such a learning experience for me. And I think of him all the time. I can see these beings. I do not have to be on medicine. Once they made contact with me, I can see them all the time in the light, but not necessarily all the time, I shouldn't say, but most of the time. And Ebert is one that is just always there. And he and Jesus Kate are counterparts. They are soulmates. They are connected. And one thing that Ebert really worked with me on is learning to trust AJ. He has been a huge advocate for AJ. I was doing these journeys solo, and he was showing me the beauty and the value and the goodness and the trustworthiness of AJ. It was extremely difficult for me to even imagine trusting a man in my life. Men have been, I don't know very many men in my life who have not really hurt the people that they love, stepped out on their wives, blah, 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 been, things that are very hurtful. And so it was really hard for me to open myself to AJ. And this being Ebert showed me again and again and again that AJ is safe to open myself to, that I will be benefited if I open myself to AJ and really trust him and let him in. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And one time, Ebert and Jesus Kate have communicated messages through dance. It's very difficult to describe. It is way beyond words, but they will do a dance, and there is a telepathic message being downloaded on me as I'm viewing this dance that just brings me to weeping tears. And the messages are so profound and so beautiful. And one of those messages through dance was a dance that Jesus, Kate, and Ebert did that showed me that it was okay to be connected to AJ. They held each other the entire time. They were both doing their individual dances, but they stayed connected through the entire dance. And I heard Jesus Kate's voice say, "It's okay," as she danced and danced with Ebert, showing, I trust Ebert and you can trust AJ. And so I am so grateful to you, Ebert. I love you so freaking much, and I do not talk about you enough. He's super goofy, super silly. He loves to make human sounds, and one of the sounds he loves to make is burping. And so that's one way that I will know that he's around too, is I start to hear burps. I'll hear it over here in my consciousness, then I'll hear another burp over here and another burp over here. And he's just silly, and he makes me laugh so hard. He's just joyful and beautiful and carefree. And he's taught me so much about being joyful and carefree as well in my life. So if you are interested in learning more about psilocybin in particular, one wonderful documentary is on Netflix, and it's called Fantastic Fungi. This documentary doesn't just talk about psychedelic mushrooms. It actually talks about all of the mushroom kingdom and their invaluable purpose on this planet. They connect everything. They keep everything going. There are fungi everywhere. Every breath we take, we're breathing in fungal spores. It's just, they run this whole planet system. It's so cool. They are between animal and plant. They are their own species, and they are intelligent, and they offer us so much, including like penicillin and other medicines, not just psychedelic healing medicines. So I would highly recommend Fantastic Fungi on Netflix if you are feeling called to learn more about the medicine work. Also, there is a series on Netflix called How to Change Your Mind, and that I highly recommend too. And also, if you're interested in learning more about the other dimensions, there's a series called Surviving Death on Netflix. And that series has given me a lot of comfort. And it also goes into some really interesting things. There's an entire episode on past lives. In Asia, where past lives are a very regular belief that is not weird to them, little kids they have many documented cases of little kids saying, this was my life before, and those facts being able to be verified. And there's some really fascinating stories on there about past lives. And it also talks about some really incredible experiences with near-death experiences. There's a woman on there that's actually, I believe, a neurosurgeon. She died and she was under the water for like 15 minutes or something crazy. There is just no way that she should have survived, but she had a profound experience in these other dimensions. And so I highly recommend, if you are interested in what those dimensions that you can visit when your mind is opened up and your default mode network in your brain is shut down so that you can focus your consciousness on other things, the beautiful places you can go. So How to Change Your Mind, Fantastic Fungi, and Surviving Death. And I'll put the links to those on the video description here today. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful evening or day or morning or wherever you find yourself. I love you. Jesus, Kate, Ebert, all the beings love you. So does Bennett and Billy. They're both sleeping and being lazy. Hope you have a wonderful time. Love you. Namaste.